Welcome back to Sapphire's Unscripted. It's probably the episode that everyone's been waiting for. Sunday, the day after. Brett, how are we feeling?
Tired, exhausted, irritated, but I'm happy that I'm alive.
Yeah, obviously extremely disappointed, but it is what it is. I think better team won at the end of the day. Coming from our perspective, when we talk about the South African game, but otherwise, again, a good weekend of rugby. But yeah, I think we need to get brutally honest at the moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I'll start off first and foremost. Like, as you know, South Africans usually blame the ref, like we do a lot of times. But on this occasion, the ref had no part to play in this. I've seen comments under my other social media videos, and it's all like blaming Carl Dixon and whatever. And I'm like, I thought that the officials had a great game. Like we were, at the end of the day, we were beaten by the better side. And that is, you need to say it like that. Ireland is a quality side. To go down 10 points at halftime, we made life so tough for ourselves. And we didn't take all our opportunities. Once again, not clinical enough. A lot of silly errors also. Just overall, like I'm happy with the second half performance, but it's like in a losing cause doesn't make it really better. It's annoying. Brett, you were at the stadium. What was the vibe like?
It was actually terrible. It was that first half. You could hear a pin drop. People didn't even go. Hardly anybody in my section got up to go buy drinks. People were actually just gutful, flabbergasted. The amount of people in the crowd that were calling for Faf's head was immense. Like everybody was saying, why is this oak better not come back onto the field at halftime? Like I haven't seen a worse performance from the person that I love so much than I did from old Faffy. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Brevin, go.
Yeah. I think Faf had a terrible game. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but I feel like that first half, it's just I took it as we didn't expect that from them. Like I generally felt like it was an underestimation of what. Yeah, very complacent. The first tackle of the game, I knew, flip. Like this is going to be a physical game. And this stuff of Northern Hemisphere teams aren't physical. I mean, the Irish definitely busted that because they were, in my opinion, the more physical side yesterday. So,
especially in the first half, they bested us in every facet. They were better than us in attack. They were better than us in defense. They were way more physical. They really smashed into some tackles. Like we got totally blitzed in that first half, and we didn't make life any easier for ourselves. Like I remember we worked so hard to get to their 22, right? And I mentioned this on another podcast. As soon as we got to that 22, we did so well to get there. 100 Pollard takes the ball, does a cross kick straight into Nash's hands without us even trying anything. Like, what was the point? Like, he even caught our own wing off guard. Like, I think it was Arends on that side. Like, Arends didn't even chase. Like, Nash just stood there and caught the ball. I was like, what are we even doing here? We at their 5-meter line. Faf, we don't even have an advantage. 4 players in front of him. Grubbers it right into them. Like, I don't understand what was going through our mind. Like, we worked so hard right before halftime to get a 3 points to make the game I think it was a 4-point game then. 10-6 for them. Immediately after, they put up one high bomb and Peter Steff obstruction. Like, it was cynical. There was some brain dead stuff that happened yesterday. We worked so hard to get that 3 points, and Peter Steff just like moves in front of Henshaw. Like the most blatant thing right in front of the post. Again, like last weekend, they're going to leave the ball if you kick that deep. If you kick off that deep, they're going to leave the ball this time. Once again, we do it. I don't understand why you want to kick that deep. Like, it makes no sense in my head.
I agree.
And there we did it. And from there, we conceded another 3 points. So cynical, stupid errors that we gave away to make life so hard for us. Now, credit to Ireland. Listen, they absolutely stormed us. But we did not do ourselves any favors. Brevin, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, there's not much more to say, to be honest. I just think they, in the first half, were the better side by far. I think in the second half, we were the better side. But at the same time, saying that, we didn't take up what we didn't create anything, you know. We'd break the line, and then it almost felt like once we broke the line, we didn't know what to do. We'd get tackled, and then we'd rush the next phase of play, you know. But yeah, I just think, I mean, the 2 drop goals, I mean, and to put that into perspective, like, Frawley missed, if I'm correct, 2 drop goals in the Champions Cup final, correct?
Yeah. And
he had the balls to do it again, and he nailed both. I mean, that is huge.
Advantages even.
Yeah, I mean,
but also, sorry, carry on.
No, I'm just saying it takes character to do that. So yeah, I mean, there has to be respect given there.
I agree on the respect, but also I don't think it took any balls at all. I think that there was no pressure from the Springboks whatsoever. He had time. He could have sat down, scratched his foot, stood up, waved at the crowd, and then aimed, and then still kicked, and still nobody charged down. Not even one of the drop goals. It was piss poor. Everything was, there was zero urgency in that team from the Springboks. I also think that last week we praised Tia Kulisi for having such a good game. I thought he had the worst captaincy decisions that I've ever seen in my entire life. How you kick for touch, you lose the line out, you get the penalty again, you kick for goal. What was the flipping point of kicking for touch in the first place then?
So if you're not going to back it.
Yeah, same. Like, what was the actual point? All you have to do, back your boys again. Say, okay, guys, we messed up that one. We know what we did wrong now. Let's fix it. Let's go score the try. Let's be the bloody more dominant side. No, let's cop out. And, Andre, you're kicking so well, my boy. You're playing like absolute dog shit, but just kick us some 3 more points. That was the feeling that I got. And not one point in the game that I see him walk up to Faf or walk up to Andre and say to them, listen, you're playing like shit. I need you to man up or get off the field. Because as captain, I would do. And Sia did not have the balls to talk to anybody on the field. I kept an eye on him the whole bloody time. And he didn't say anything to anyone. He even asked the guys, must we kick for goals? You the captain, son. You make the decision.
Yeah. It was such a tough day at the office. And we started off with, when I saw Willie getting knocked down, right? Stumbling there, spaghetti legs, I thought, well, all of a sudden, this might be the longest day of our lives. Because if Andre played like he played last weekend, I was like, yeah, we're not going to have any pace in this back line.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think Andre played a bit better than last weekend in terms of his overall play and his kicking. But still not at the races. Like, Sasha was absolutely amazing. Sasha was extraordinary. And obviously, they have players that stood out for them. Like, their try that Ireland scored was one of the most beautiful moves. They executed it so plain and simple. They made it look easy just to break through there. Once again, Conor Murray. But Osborne was insane. James Lowe had a good game because he actually got them upfield again. Joe McCarthy was absolute beast. So I was just like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I agree with you. I was so mad when we didn't go for the maul again. You 5 meters out on the corner, just kick to touch and back your boys. That's how we usually score tries. I want to go back to you, Brett, because there's something that I haven't seen people bring up. Sorry, Brevin, did you want to add something on that?
No. Carry on.
When we have a dropout, right? Because I was so annoyed by that drop goal that they scored, the first one, right? why is Andre Pollard dropping out when you have Sasha there that's got the boot of a bloody horse that can kick the thing until about their 22, and Andre Pollard literally just pops this thing out about 40 meters, knowing none of us can chase that for a charge down, knowing Frawley is right there, he's just going to slot the drop goal right back. Like, what is the thinking of not putting up something contestable? And if you're not putting up something contestable, whack it upfield.
Yeah,
just get your field position.
That was my issue as well, because what I said to myself, because he stood on the right-hand side of the field, then kicked to the middle of the field. Why wouldn't you go stand under the post and kick to the left or to the right? Then by the time the ball has to be passed back in to the middle, we've at least had some chases coming up. But that was a piss poor kick. It was terrible.
Just dinked it.
Yes. Also, another thing that I just want to say, Doris's yellow card was never a yellow card. What that
No.
was.
But James Ryan is a red.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. But yeah. So, but I'm saying Doris is one. That
Yeah, I agree.
That was the worst call ever. He did not deserve a yellow card there.
No.
But also, what I also want to reiterate is on. Yes, Sasha had a good game, but twice in the game, his like terrible clearance kicks also cost us unnecessary points, because the one that went out directly into touch, and then that's where they actually attacked and got the drop goal. But then the other one was supposed to obviously go to the corner and went straight down the middle, and then it just gave them more attacking ball, and they came all the way 2 hour 22 from that. So if you're not confident in your kicking like a Willie Leroux would have been there, those field placement kicks are brilliant from Willie. But if you're not confident, don't do it. Attack. You are a good attacker.
Yeah. Even that last ball, when they had that kick through, he could have left it. That ball was definitely going out. Like, I know he didn't want to take any chances, but that was kind of already over the line. Like, they could have just shielded it a bit. But, I mean, it is.
Yeah, I guess it's just, I think Sasha showed that he belongs in a Springbok jersey, 100%. Yeah. But I think, obviously, his maturity, or his rugby maturity, shall I say, in that matter, maybe just needs to be a bit upped at test level, if that makes sense. Because obviously, Willie is so experienced, he would have known kind of not to maybe kick a banana kick there like Sasha did. You know, that was very risky, and he was very close to the touchline. So, yeah, I think the kid's got so much talent. Obviously, he had an amazing, when he did attack, he looked phenomenal. I mean, bouncing, not obviously a full bounce, but like pushing off Furlong, running into him, like that's a prop, you know, like the kid's special. But other than that, I think just a bit of maturity, and I'm sure he's good to go. But I think he was a massive positive, other than a few mistakes.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, obviously, that was his first actual game for the Springboks. Like, the kid is, 21 years old. A lot of room for him to grow. I'm excited to see how he operates if he maybe plays 10 and Willemse comes back and Willemse goes into that 15 jersey. But overall, we have to give credit to Ireland. Like, they were the better team. They forced a lot of errors out of us as well. Kwacha gave a couple of silly ones as well again. Like, that one at the breakdown, he just dives over. I mean, seriously, come on, Kwacha. Brett, I do agree with you in terms of Caelan Doris. Like, that was soft, but I think that was one of the most horrific clear outs I've ever seen. James Ryan, like, just flew in there, croc roll, dived in on the leg as well, or put his weight on the leg. That was horrific, especially with Malcolm just coming back from the ACL.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's not take anything away from Ireland. We give them respect. And Brevin, as you mentioned, like, even if we drew the series, this feels like a series loss because they won the final one. I would have wanted the final one, because now it's both teams played, and now that you finally played each other, you both make improvements, and they came out victors.
I mean, yeah, like I said, they're more than welcome to make the noise now. Like they did not have a lot of key players yesterday, like a lot, and they came and won. Whether it's by 1 point and a last-second drop goal, whatever, they still won the game. And the Springboks have a lot of. They have to be honest with themselves. That's not good enough. I mean, you world champions, and to do that against a weakened Ireland side, in my opinion, even though they played phenomenally, weakened side, it's not a great look. So I think something on attack needs to change as well, because no tries, that's not good. That's really not good, especially I understand in a World Cup game where it's tight and stuff, and I know it's test match rugby, but we have this new attack coach, and we want to make improvements, and to not score a try, it leaves a bitter taste.
Yeah. So first, I get why people are saying it's a weakened side, but I feel like Conor Murray, world-class player, so there it's not really, it's maybe weakened on form, but I think everybody there that was playing for me, like a Henshaw for me was, like I said in our previous episode, he's a bigger threat to me than a Bundiaki, and it showed. So I didn't feel like it was a weakened side. Maybe it's not their regular starters, but could we make that same excuse then if Marnie was playing and then we lost the game and we said no, it's because Pollard didn't start? It's like for like players. It's players that are regulars in this side. So I feel like it was strength versus strength for me. For me personally, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just saying for me. But also I'm on. Oh, and little bonus point here. South Africa won the tour on aggregate.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're
excited
for the Euros tonight, so we decided to bring a little aggregate into the rugby as well.
Exactly. If it's 1-1 and you have to decide on a winner, we won by 7, they won by 1. It's 6 points difference. South Africa win the series.
I wanted, Brevan, just the final thing on the South African game before we move on to England and New Zealand. When I looked at I didn't realize how old a lot of our players are, right? And I'm not going to be one of those guys that all of a sudden feels, oh, we better make some changes, otherwise we are doomed and whatever. Because we felt at the top of the world last weekend, like one loss with 1 point. Because if he missed the drop goal yesterday, we'd probably be singing a bit of a different tune and saying, listen, what a comeback, well done, boys, or whatever, right? But we didn't. Do you panic a bit when you see a lot of the ages in our team? Do you think we play this year with those players and then from next year start looking at a bit of the future? Because I think there was like 1 or 2 guys under 30 in our starting lineup yesterday.
Yeah, I think realistically 2027 is a long way away for some of these players. Like, if I'm being completely honest, there's a few there that I'm like, well, they surely they won't have the form they ever once did at that age, So I do think a lot of young blood, or should I say new talent, should come into the squad as it comes on. I actually don't have the answers. I think you need the experience 100%, but at the same time, guys like Sasha, guys like Ben, Jason Dixon, those type of players, they need to be starting, to get a real feel for what it's all about, because I think they will have more to offer come 2027, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't doubt the future of the Springboks in terms of quality. I'm just thinking, like, when do we actually start bringing them in? Yeah. Brett, do you want to add any final thoughts before we move on to...
Yeah, I do actually. On that same topic, I do feel like that this was testament that don't reward players that are playing shit rugby. Like Evan Ruiz needed to start this game over Kwacha. That was poor, because the amount of energy he would have brought, just the energy alone would have been better. Would have been like almost an in-your-face approach, because he's hungry to wear that Bok jersey.
Grant or Reinach?
Huh? Yeah, exactly. Grant or Reinach, yeah, either one of those two, because again, Faf is so comfortable. He knows that he's probably going to start next week again against Portugal, because Rassi loves him so much. Just wear your bloody Speedo so we can have more brownie points, because
you saw the difference that Grant made when he came on. Grant was brilliant.
Exactly. That kick he made, in the 22, and he chased his own kick and made the tackle in their 22 and won us a line out. Like,
Exactly.
I've never seen Faf do that. So, yeah, I'll just say that.
Never.
On his weak
never
foot.
his whole career. And this
On
is
his weak foot, yeah.
Yeah, but also I've been saying this now for a long time, that if I don't know what Rassi sees in Faf that we don't. Yes, he's a great coach and everything, but I mean, come on, surely after 2 terrible games, you can just decide for yourself. I mean, yeah, it's getting bad now. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. And Faf wasn't great against Wales either, so 3. Anyway, let's move on to England versus New Zealand. And we as South Africans, as Springbok fans, we have lived through this so many times, where it's like we are pumping them at every facet of the game, literally every single one. And we give them 20 minutes and they just absolutely stampede us. They just run straight through you. No care, just putting points on you. I remember, where did we play the game that we were in like a 20-point? Yeah.
I was there.
20-point lead with 15 minutes to go, and they score like 3-4 tries, whatever.
I was also there that day.
That was disappointing, but yeah, I remember.
They do it so many times. You can never take your foot off the gas against the All Blacks. They've got so many threats all over the park, and we saw it yesterday. They got blitzed yesterday. Like, the better team throughout the game lost, but they deserve to lose the way that they played in that final third of the game. Like, it was...
Yeah. In case of emergency, break glass, and behind the glass is Bowden Barrett.
Yeah, exactly. What are they doing with that oak on the bench? I don't understand. I genuinely don't get it. Like, whenever he gets onto the field, it's like the players go, okay, dad's home, got to behave now, got to play rugby. So, yeah, it's just a massive...
somebody phoned me.
Oh, good. Yeah, so, you know what, that All Black side is just, I mean, when Bowden stepped on the field, they were so much better. And like you said, the last 20 minutes, they were just, they played rugby where I was like, okay, that's the All Blacks I know, Whereas before, England, like you said, they were dominating that game, like, big time. So
completely, yeah.
Also,
and it wasn't even that Stephen Perofeta had a bad game. That was just a judgment call. Listen, we need to get Bowden Barrett onto the field. They get him on the field, and he just does damage. Every single touch he had, everything he did turned into gold. I mean, if he scored that try with the chip over, before the ball bounced, chipped it again, if he picked that up, I would have donated my left nut to the Bowden Barrett Foundation, like, just out of respect. That was absolutely insane. He gets onto the field, his first touch, he makes the break, passes it to the left, Talia into the corner. I mean, it's crazy. I want to, because you're a lock as well, right? Maro Torje had probably his best game that I've seen in a long time, until 60 minutes. And he just gave away like 8 penalties. And he just went, poof. He was dead on his feet. Like, they had no more gears to go. Like, I feel bad for this English team. But...
you know what, like... What I wanted to say is just how this just shows how close international rugby is at the moment. Remember when it was like All Blacks, South Africa, everyone else type of thing? It's now literally everyone's here. And as much as, we want to win everything and New Zealand wants to win everything, this is actually good for the sport because it brings a lot more competitiveness, more eyes, rivalries. It brings a lot more into play. So, yeah, but that obviously that try that the All Blacks scored, their last try, it was. I mean, that I think it was Mark Talea that scored it.
Yeah, it was him. Yeah. That was with the Bowden Barrett break, wasn't it?
It was just such good rugby. Like, that's what we know the All Blacks can do. And at the same time, like, the fight from the English is just, like last year this time, we were all ruling them out to not even get out the group stages of the Rugby World Cup. Like, we thought. So it shows, like, times are changing and people have to adapt. So, yeah, I mean,
I
also,
saw a tweet yesterday where someone just said, listen, instead of trying to say who's the best in the world, right? How about we just realize that we are in a golden era of rugby right now? Like it could start right now. It's been going for a little while. Like people said there were clear favorites in the World Cup. Well, none of the clear favorites won or were in the final. And now it's like, well, we won the World Cup, but Ireland beat us even with injuries, but we beat them the week before without the injuries. England deserved to beat the All Blacks. England beat Ireland. We beat New Zealand. And it's just like, and obviously you still have France in there. You have a Wallabies team that's starting to look a bit better. I know they only beat Wales, so I'll calm down on that. But it's still like they're starting to build momentum. So we just got to appreciate that we kind of starting to get into a golden era of rugby. Like we could be going back to those beautiful days of 2007 where literally everyone was just good, for instance. So, but overall, like I know it was a 2-game series and New Zealand took it 2-0, but wow, like that English team can be super proud with their performances.
They can easily, yeah.
They arguably deserve to win both games. Like probably most people would say they deserve to win both games. And then for New Zealand again, they just think, listen, we might not have deserved to win the games, but like imagine if we just put a full performance together. Like this is only their first 2 games together. So they'll probably go into the rugby championship now with a lot more confidence. They played against probably the best defensive side in the world at the moment, coached by Felix Jones. So, yeah, do you have anything to add kind of to that English?
I just think,
Marcus Smith was pulling strings.
Big time. Obviously, massive improvements from what we've seen before in the England shirt. But yeah, that end of year tour, that's going to be a huge game for us. Like as much as we can banter the English or whatever, going down to Twickenham in November, I mean, that's going to be a difficult game of rugby. I can tell you that now, especially with how they're playing at the moment. So yeah, I mean, England there'll be professionals will be disappointed with 2 losses in a row. Don't get me wrong. They'll be angry. But at the same time, I would personally walk away from that series going, these guys aren't that much better than us, you know? So we will get them the next time we play them type thing. So, yeah, I think England can walk away with a lot of pride, showed bravery, guts. And New Zealand, I think, will walk away with, I think New Zealand are going to walk away with more questions than answers, if that makes sense. Whereas England left with more answers than questions because New Zealand is not living up to what we know they can be. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but there's always like the little caveat of like it is still a new coaching staff.
Yeah.
They will feel they can get better. The lineout is a big question mark. Like it was disastrous.
I don't understand why they make Ardie Surveyor jump in front. I mean, just off a quick observation, it doesn't make sense. Like he should jump where Dwayne jumped. So yeah, I'll just say that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the Wallabies and Welsh game. I didn't watch too much of it, to be honest with you.
Did I? No, not much, bro.
I did see a healthy bit of especially the first half. And I think at a point, Australia was up 17-0. And they scored probably try of the season. Andrew Kellaway gets that ball from Tom Wright, literally on their own goal line, does a little chip over, gets the ball in the jump, offloads to Fraser McWright, who chucks it down and throws it out wide to the winger to finish off. 100-meter try. I mean, who doesn't like seeing it? But from 17-0, and I'm thinking, okay, this Wallabies team, they are looking good. To only win the game in the end by like 8 points after you've blitzed this Welsh team, like they are probably so demoralized because they haven't won a game in forever. I just think they should have done a lot better. Like I expected them to absolutely smash this Welsh team this weekend.
Yeah, I guess it's just, I think it happens to a lot of teams where you're so far ahead where it's almost like your body kind of doesn't know how to react or what rugby do you play, you know? Because you're like in the thing that, okay, now do we just pin them back in their half type thing, play a territory game, that type of thing? Do we defend the lead or do we attack and try and build the lead? So, yeah, it's sometimes teams just don't know how to get that balance. But you know what? I think the Wallabies walk away with just knowing, okay, we're a lot better than what we were under Eddie Jones, 100%. Because
yeah, of course.
yeah, I mean
even though it was just Wales, and people can always say it's just Wales. Like Wales played a lot better in this series than they did against us or in the Six Nations or whatever, right? And in the end, Australia can still go away and say, listen, this is just a confidence booster for us. We've got 2 victories now after a terrible season. They've got new blood in now. Guys that really want to prove themselves. They've got their victories. It gives them confidence going into the likes of the Super Rugby. They're playing at home against South Africa, where they have a massive record over us. Like, we struggle to travel there. They'll probably back themselves to beat Argentina, because Argentina doesn't look too great. Like, I don't think Argentina beat this French team by too much over the weekend. I'm not too sure. Didn't watch it. And then, well, I don't think they'll usually get the hopes up for the All Blacks, but All Blacks also has a new coaching staff. So all of a sudden, the Rugby Championship looks very interesting, and they'll be licking their lips to go out and prove a point. Because that would be massive. Imagine the upset if the Wallabies all of a sudden win the Rugby Championship because they catch us all a cold. Right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a massive possibility, because if you look at where games are being played, New Zealand could slip up here, you know. They only have to play New Zealand once. They play New Zealand at home once. Then obviously I think their 2 away games are Argentina, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
It will be, because we have our 2 home games in a row against New Zealand. They'll have it against Argentina. So they'll say we can give this a real go. I mean, so that Rugby Championship is widely open for anyone, because I think Argentina as well picked up their socks a tad, you know. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting Rugby Championship, that's for sure.
Anyway, let's wrap it up.
I just want to say one thing. Sorry, before we end, just to go back to the Springbok game, or the between the Irish and the Springboks. I think obviously we bitterly disappointed. It looks like maybe we didn't give Ireland enough credit. So I just wanted to say to any Irish.
Times.
I mean, well, yeah, no, I just want to say, like, well done. Like, that was really guts, bravery. I think they won the series personally, and I can't wait to play them again. But yeah, that was awesome from them. So I just wanted to, before we get backlash that we didn't give enough respect, like
they'll probably not even see this part, because most people would have clicked off that. Anyway, as always, people, thank you very much for watching. We do appreciate you guys. We fully expect banter in the comments. We want you to banter us. We were a bit cocky when it comes to this thing. As always, when we play you next time, we'll be cocky again. So no real surprises. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. We will see you on Wednesday for episode 100. Thank you.
Cheers.